Welcome to Backyard Family Fun, the podcast from Pride Pool Spas and Leisure Products in Claxton and Savannah, Georgia. Celebrating 50 years serving our community, this family-owned business has spent decades helping create memories that last a lifetime. Whether you're a pool owner, a spa lover, or just looking to turn your outdoor space into a true retreat, we've got you covered right here on the Backyard Family Fun podcast. And as a crazy awesome deal for our Backyard Family Fun podcast fans, you get 10% off anything inside either location in Claxton and Savannah, excluding pools, hot tubs, or saunas when you mention the podcast. That's all you have to do. Go and visit the Claxton or Savannah Pride pools, mention the podcast, and get 10% off. Now that's a reason to celebrate. Welcome back to Backyard Family Fun, brought to you by Pride Pool Spas and Leisure Products. I'm Dee Daniels, and we're here in the Claxton location. I'm sitting down with Marshall Smith on this episode. Always have a good time with you, Marshall, and we always really do a deep dive into all the good things.
We do, and I'm so thankful you're here and looking forward to this episode. And we're going to talk about hot tubs today. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, we are. I love a good hot tub. I do, always have, and we're going to really dig into some of the benefits. And of course, you know, our listeners, a lot of them already know how relaxing a wonderful spa can be in your backyard, and especially on a cold, chilly night, that's even better. But
that's right.
There are just so many things beyond the relaxation piece now, even with all the new technology has made that even better for wellness, really. And,
that's right.
And I know we're going to get into some of that today.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And the diversity that you find in what's available in the marketplace, and we have that available at Pride Pools and Spas. We try to capture whatever's in the marketplace and bring that to the table for the consumer and show them the differences in what's available. And so, yeah, I'm excited to, you know, it's kind of, spas are quick snapshot background. Yeah, we were in the manufacturing side of the business back in the late 80s, early 90s through the 90s. And so that was kind of like my forte. That's where I landed, was there for about 12 years. And so I get excited about hot tubs. So, yep, looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. Now, Pride Pools has been going strong for 50 years.
That's
and
right.
We've talked about that quite a bit on this show. And just, you know, what that means. One of the things it means to me is that over 50 years, you know, you've probably become kind of a scientist in the fact where
right.
you might know a little bit about the science behind the hydrotherapy.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about that when it comes to what brings that to a spa. How does that all work to really give all those great benefits?
And that's a great question. I think consumers a lot of times don't think about that, and they just think about, well, does it turn hot water? And well, sure it does. And so kind of get behind the scenes a little bit. And so, and knowing that I've been able to be on that side of it is exciting to talk about. So yes, pump capacity.
Okay.
The number of jets, the size of the plumbing is huge as well. So, you know, consumers can walk in and say, yeah, there's a hot tub that turns hot water. But if you want to understand what you're purchasing, it's important to understand, you know, what the professionals here at Pride can tell you about that particular model or that particular series of tub and say, yeah, that makes sense because that particular spa has 72 jets in it. It has a 5.5 horsepower XP pump in it, you know, whatever the case may be. And if that's the case, you can say to yourself, oh, wow, that's going to give me a lot of hydrotherapy. Or if we're over here looking at this other spa that has, you know, only 22 jets in it, and it's got, you know only 1.5 inch plumbing, and the pumps are 3.5 horsepower, or whatever the case may be, it's to understand. And I guess you could get into the science piece of it, because when you talk about GPM, gallons per minute, the more you can turn that, the more hydrotherapy you're going to get, right? So the capacity of the pumps, the size of the plumbing is probably the most important piece. And so having the understanding of the technology behind the production So you've got the production behind the curtain, right? And then you've got the production up front and what it's delivering to the audience. And to understand both of those is important. And so we bring that expertise to the table so that when consumers are looking to try to find what's going to fit their needs the best, we know how to answer the questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking about Mrs. Jones walking in the door here at Claxton, or Mr. Smith, or Ms. Daniels, which would be me. And I know that I want a new hot tub. There's so many models out now than the last time I had one. So I walk in and I don't know which one I necessarily would be good for me. I haven't decided which one I want.
Sure.
Am I able, and I know that I am because I've heard it happen here. Am I able to walk in and say, I don't know which one I want yet? Can you sort of help me decide?
Sure. Yeah. and what I believe the best way to do that is, it's like when you're buying a vehicle or anything else, if you can test drive it, so to speak, is an important piece of that decision making, right? So we offer test soaks. In other words, if you wanted to come in and say, I like the look of that spa, I was able to get in it, dry test it, I got up in the spa, sat in it, see how it fit my body, and it felt good to you, but then you said, you know what, I'd like to wet test it. We bring that to the table too. You can get in the hot tub and get a good feel for what makes sense to you. So we kind of give you that full run of saying, we're going to make sure you make the right decision that's for you. And so having that opportunity is huge, I think, when you're able to come in to either one of our locations to wet test a hot tub.
Yeah. Which is really cool to be able to do, because, I am not going to make an investment for a vehicle unless I get in it and drive it down the road.
That's right. I wouldn't.
I mean,
sure.
That's just something that I've got. Does it fit me? Do I like the way it sounds on the road?
Right.
Does
it handle well? Yeah, sure.
All the things.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can do that with a hot tub, oh my goodness.
That's right. Again, if you're understanding the value of the hot tub and what it brings to the table, and again, the hydrotherapy, the peace of mind, the medicinal reasons, you want to make the right decision. And so to do that is to either dry test and or wet test the hot tub so that you know in the back of your mind, we're doing everything we can to provide you with that opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to get into the wellness piece a little bit with the spa, because I think, it doesn't matter what you're going through. Maybe it's something that is not going to last forever in your life, or maybe you've got something that, is an illness ongoing that,
Sure.
I would love to be able to have a little bit of sort of health recovery in a different way in my backyard where I
Sure.
can just go and sort of be in the hot tub for 20 minutes a day, or
Sure.
whatever the case may be. There's so many people that are thinking that when they come and
That's
do
right.
this.
Well, I think everybody has a different reason
Sure.
for investing in a hot tub, and it can be medicinal. It can be mental. It could be, which can be medicinal, but it can be physical as well.
Right.
Whether it be a knee replacement or a hip surgery, or it could be shoulder surgery. Whatever the case may be, if you're looking at it from that perspective, this checks the box, right? If you're looking at it from a mental capacity, this checks the box, right? So if it's diabetes related, if it's looking to maybe lose a few pounds, whatever the case may be, this checks the box for any and all of the above for mental, physical, medicinal. So if you're looking for any of the above, this will satisfy that need.
Yeah. I've even heard people talk about, pain management on an ongoing basis, and, how having a spa was something that they made a noticeable difference
Sure.
in the pain management.
Absolutely. So again, I just mentioned that a minute ago, so if you're knee replacement,
Right.
whatever the case may be, that's going to require that long-term therapy to get back up to 100%. This can assist in that very well, because if you're going to try to make the opportunity to get the therapy, the non-weight bearing type of therapy, the mobility piece, this allows you to be in the hot tub to give you that hot water hydrotherapy and create that mobility to help advance that therapy so that you're hopefully going to recover even quicker, right? So yeah, absolutely brings that to the table as well. So anything, whether it's rehab, long-term capacity when it comes to just mental capacity and getting that daily relief, so to speak, it just brings a lot to the table.
Yeah. I want to talk too about some of the accessories that are available for, I mean, there's so many.
Sure.
You know, I'm looking at seats that are movable now, jets that are movable now. I'm looking at waterproof pillows.
That's right.
You know, that are situated just in the right place
Sure.
for you to be able to really get that neck support and sort of relax. I mean, talk about some of these accessories.
And because we have such a wide variety to choose from, we can hopefully help each consumer find what's best for them, right? So we've got hot tubs that have, as you mentioned, the waterproof pillows. We have jet pack technology in the Bullfrog brand that we offer. It allows you to move the jet capacity around in the hot tub so that, I love sitting over here, but I love the hydrotherapy that seat gives me. Let's just move that jet pack over to the lounge. So that flexibility is incredible. So we point that out with the Bullfrog brand. I think a lot of people love that aspect. That's what makes that so popular. And of course, the technology that comes with Bullfrog as well. We have a Nova spas. We have UAG spas. And each one of those brands have their own unique features that are brought to the table. Lighting is a big deal. Sometimes people think of lighting as kind of an afterthought, but it's kind of a mood setter, right?
For sure.
Lighting can be a big deal in that mood of whether, for whatever reason you're in the hot tub for, the type of lighting that's brought to the table based on the brand is a big deal. So, certain types of seats. We have, and we don't, get into the idea that, you've got a hot tub that's kind of a deeper tub than normal. And so if you're like me, you're maybe a little vertically challenged. And so maybe that seat's a little deep. Well, guess what? We've got booster seats, so to speak, that are designed for the spa. So that, if you are in a spa and that seat's a little deep for you, we have something to eliminate that particular situation, right? So, we talk about that's kind of a fun thing to talk about, but they're available. Cover mates, most people don't even know what is a cover mate. Well, I think it's probably one of the biggest investments you'll make with a hot tub. If you got a body of water that you're heating, you want to keep it covered, right? If you keep it covered, it retains the heat, helps the spa be more energy efficient, helps it stay clean, right? Taking that spa cover on and off, getting the cover mate is huge because makes it so much easier. So when we're talking about accessories, you want to talk about the cover mate, the steps, the lighting, and even sometimes some of the technology that's built in with Bluetooth capabilities. That's a big deal. That's available in a couple of the models that we offer, or a couple of the brands that we offer. So hot water hydrotherapy with the additional accessories just makes that particular, say, morning session or afternoon session just that much better.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the booster seat because I too have a little bit of that issue. So I understand your pain there. I feel for you. I'm glad that there are things that are helping us out now because I don't like sitting in the hot tub and feeling like I'm up to my neck in the water because I can't sit high enough in the seat. To have these choices, spot on for me.
That's right. So, a lot of people don't even think about that because we were talking earlier, about the jetpack technology, moving the jets around.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of eliminates some of the theory of a booster seat with the Bullfrog brand because you can move that jet capacity around to a seat that's not as deep as, whatever.
Exactly.
So you've got that flexibility with the Bullfrog brand, but the booster seat may come in handy with the UAG or the Nova brand. So. But just knowing that you've got that ability is a good thing. So, it's not something that is needed a lot, but we have it.
Yeah. Absolutely. A question that I feel like would pop up here as we're talking about that technology of moving the jets and moving, having sort of different choices in seating.
Right.
Is that difficult to move if you have that? And can you do it while the hot tub is still full? Do I need to drain that to do that?
That's a great question. And that's the other, I think, beauty, ease of the Bullfrog brand is that very easy to move, and you can do it while the spa is full of water. So that just brings a lot to the table because, if I'm a discerning customer and I come in and I test soak in the spa like we talk about doing, I can show that while they're actually are test soaking, and we can show how that works. And that's just huge peace of mind. And consumers look at that and say, wow, how cool is that? Well, I'll say this. Again, we talk about that technology, the jetpack technology. Bullfrog's the only brand in the world that offers that, and we carry it. So we're excited about that technology and the DuraFrame, the maintenance of the spa, the longevity of the spa. Bullfrog brings a lot to the table. So, yep, all that is check, ease of maintenance.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd like to get into a little bit of a side conversation that I think is important to have. I mean, 50 years for Pride Pools, the idea of buying local, is it's so important to consumers. And I feel like, there's a conversation around, you see a lot of these sort of pop-up spa sales. And I'd love sort of your thoughts around that to share with the audience, and really because the quality comes into question for a lot of people, because this is a huge investment I'm making. But then you see these flashy prices, and pop up things that it's something that I think people are concerned about.
Yeah, and I hope they are, because we understand that consumers, flashy advertising can go a long way. What we understand and what we believe in consumers is that when you're making this particular investment, take the time to look local, because if you don't, more than likely, you may not end up as happy as you would have down the road, because you're not going to get the local face, the local brick and mortar store. You can go and talk to someone.
Right.
You're going to get a one-stop shop with us. From an installation, from the electrical, from creating the environment that the hot tub or the spa's got to go. We do all of the above. And so, we're concerned about that, and consumers can get caught up in the flashy advertising. And we just fully are concerned that consumers aren't making the full circle investment approach. Like, okay, if I'm going to make this investment, I'm going to definitely do my due diligence. I'm going to do the shopping I deserve to make sure I'm going to get the right product for myself and my family, and pay the right price that feels right for me. And so it's important that something of this nature, again, we're not into that necessity part of the world yet, but we are, we believe, getting close to that, because we see the value of the hydrotherapy, the wellness, all of the above, as we talked about earlier, that hot tubs bring to the table for peace of mind and longevity of life. And so we understand, if you look at it from that perspective, you're going to say to yourself, let's get the right product for me. And so we know things happen. There are different things that arrive on the scene sometimes, or in the neighborhoods and around. And we just encourage you, before you make those type of investments, shop local. Come check us out. I think you'll find us to have all of the above, and maybe then some. And know the fact that you're supporting local is huge, because those dollars flow back into the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to be educated on the investments that I'm making. So when I'm, making a big investment into myself, into my family, into my wellness, that sort of thing, I want to be educated about the product.
Sure.
And to be able to have someone to sort of help me through that process. But then, I think with buying local, there's this big headline for me that is this service after the sale. So, I'm concerned about a part that might go bad, or I need some maintenance on something. I would like to be able to go and talk to someone, in person. And sometimes, you might not think about that at the beginning when you see sort of a flashy kind of marketing thing, but after the fact when something's
That's right.
coming down the road, that's a big deal.
It is huge, and that's the reason why I pointed out. You don't get captured or caught up in the moment of flashy advertising, because 99.9% of the time, you probably could have bought it for less money and with more peace of mind, knowing that you are going to support a business that's local, and know that you are going to be able to get the part you need, and that same company is going to do the service after the sale. And you're just going to get your needs met. And I think, which means just happier life, right? You're going to get in the back of your mind, you've supported local, those dollars are going to flow back into the local community. That's a big deal. And it supports another business that's providing a good number of jobs for the local community. And we want to be able to support all the folks that are involved in this business. And so shop local, check it out before you make that decision, because we have all the things to offer from a buying perspective. We have the financing, we take credit cards, we take cash, we take checks, we take all the above. And sometimes we even have some special financing deals as well. So just check local before you get caught up in the flashy advertising.
No doubt. All right. Out of the hot seat. Thanks for having that conversation. I feel like it's an important one.
Sure it is.
It's an important one.
Yeah.
So when it comes to spas, is there a better time of year for a consumer to walk in and sort of learn about new spas that are out?
That's a great question. But no, what we learned about, I guess, probably 30 years ago, that we probably sell as many hot tubs in May and June as we do in November and December.
Really?
We do. And so, it's become more of a year-round approach when it comes to the spas. And so we don't see them as seasonal. However, a lot of consumers still associate hot tubs with cold weather, right? It's kind of like that. The two kind of go hand in hand. And so we do still make the effort during the November, December, Octobers, January, February, that we do focus a little more energy and effort on to the hot tub side of our business, just because we know consumers are associating the weather with hot tubs. And so not uncommon for consumers to see that. But again, we notice that consumers will come in and again, we will sell as many in May and June as we do in November and December.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Year round.
It is year round. I mean, and the weather here, I feel like, lends itself to just so many wonderful opportunities.
That's right.
You mentioned earlier about, having so many choices for spas. When it comes to what you carry, how do you decide what you carry and what kind of spas are available?
Great question. We will do our due diligence when it comes to brand awareness, when it comes to understanding the product that we feel most comfortable presenting to the public, right? And putting on our floor and having that peace of mind that we've put the right product out there. So we'll do a due diligence, and it may be 2, sometimes 3 years before we make that decision, knowing that, especially if it's something new, we never bring anything brand new to the table. Something of a hot tub nature, we don't. So, we do our due diligence. We're going to do our work from behind the scenes to make sure we're confident in the product, first and foremost. Second of all, we understand that consumers have different taste.
Yeah.
They have discerning taste when it comes to the look of the hot tub, the performance of the hot tub, when it comes to just aesthetically, all of the above. And so we feel like if we're going to try to provide as many options as possible, we're going to do our due diligence and make sure that we try to capture as many consumers as possible when it comes to that discerning taste, right? So anything from what we call an all roto-molded hot tub that is, so it's like a one-piece product that is built out of an ABS product. And so we call it a plug-and-play series.
Right.
Allows you to 110 volt, plug it up, you can take it home today. So we have that available. And then we step up from there and we go into a more traditional acrylic brand of hot tub with certain look of the cabinet, a certain look of the shell, certain features available. And then we step into, good, better, best.
Right.
It's a good way to put it. So I guess when it comes to having the availability, that's kind of the theory, I guess, of good, better, best. And we try to capture that because all consumers, we feel like, have discerning taste, and they may have a good taste or a better taste or a best taste or whatever the case may be. So we want to have the availability to try to capture as many consumers as possible.
Yeah. And, I'm thinking, that you have those times where you walk into that, big box store and you see one model of like a hot tub.
That's right.
And you're like, okay. But then you walk in here into Claxton or Savannah at Pride Pools, and you have so many out on the floor.
That's right.
Of choices that I didn't even know existed. And I was like, okay, this, now I can see I've got a lot of variety here that I, depending on what my tastes are,
Sure,
what my budget might be, what I'm looking for, what size I need, what accessories I want, what kind of lighting I want.
That's right.
I mean, there's so many choices.
Kind of comes back to what we were talking about earlier about the wet test or the dry test, whatever. Knowing that you've got, again, anywhere from 12 to 15 units on the floor at all times, it's a lot better to say, wow, they've made a massive investment into trying to provide to me what I might be looking for instead of one spa on the floor, right? So we understand that consumers are we're all different. We're all snowflakes, right? So we're all to the point where there's none of us are the same. And so we have to say, let's try to provide as much diversity as we can. And so the way to do that is to invest, put it on your showroom floor, and let consumers decide what's best for them. And so, the more you can have, the more choices and options that are available. We're able to show that and to be able to get, inquire with you what feels like it's going to be the best suited for you. So the more you have available to offer, hopefully the best opportunity we have to capture what your needs and wants are, right? So,
yeah. Just a quick shout out to a few episodes ago. We were chatting with Adam, talking about Bullfrog. If you want to do a deep dive into Bullfrog,
that's a great
go
episode.
Listen to that episode.
Right.
It's fantastic. One of the things that he was saying is that he just loves how well educated and well trained everyone here is at Pride Pools on all of these products. So, you're talking about that variety. You can just come in and ask a question because everybody's got an answer or will find the answer for you.
That's right.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, 50 years, we hope that we've done something right over the past 50 years. And so being professional, having the product knowledge that is important for consumers in making decisions is paramount. We see that as, if you've got a question, as you so pointed out, if we don't have it, we're going to seek it. We're going to find it before you leave. And so, product knowledge is something we pride ourselves on, and knowing and asking the right questions or being able to answer the questions that consumers bring to the table. So, I think it's important because it's an important shopping decision. It's a process to some degree. And we want to make sure consumers understand. We understand the water chemistry behind it, the hydrotherapy behind it, how it generates itself, and all the accessories and how they are implemented into the hot tubs, so that they can benefit each individual the way they see them. And so, product knowledge is paramount. And so we're gonna focus on that and our ability to give you the best shopping experience possible.
Final question before we wrap up. What's the most common question you get about spas when customers come in?
How much is that one?
Of course.
And I say that I'm laughing about it, but it truly is, because I think if anybody is truly shopping, one of the first questions out of their mouth is, how much is that one right there?
Yeah.
I say that tongue in cheek, but they all are going to ask that question.
Right.
Ultimately, eventually they'll ask that question. But I would say, jet capacity is probably, a performance question. The seating capacity is probably the first or second question of, size. What are the dimensions of this particular spa? So, it varies a little bit in what might be the most common question asked. And, we have those answers, right? So I think understanding the space that you're going to, put your investment, as much as you can tell us about that, helps us help you make the right decision. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So-
I would love to, I would imagine some of the conversations that go on here in the showroom, how many people
can
can
get
we fit
creative,
in
yeah.
this one?
Yeah.
How many people do we have to invite over? Do we want to invite
right.
anybody
That's
over
right.
to get in the hot tub? Maybe we don't,
That's one of the responses I like to give is because they'll say, well, how big is this spa? Or they'll say, how many person spa is this? And
Yeah.
I'll say, well, it depends on how friendly you are. If you're real friendly, it could be 10, or it may if you're not real friendly, it's maybe just 2.
That's it.
But yeah, that's kind of a funny thing we like to use around here, just because I think we want as many people as possible to experience hot tub hydrotherapy. So yeah, we make the experience fun and hopefully rewarding, knowledgeable all at the same time, so that you've had a great shopping experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Come in and ask all your questions. Check out the links in the show notes of this episode. Marshall, always good to sit down with you.
Fantastic, Dee. Thanks for having me.
Let the celebrations continue. The team at Pride Pools is excited to give you a huge anniversary special. Actually, 3 of them. To celebrate 50 years all year long, you can get up to $10,000 in savings on 3 anniversary fiberglass pools. There are 3 sizes to choose from: the backyard size, the family size, and the fun size. How cool is that? So stop by the Claxton or Savannah locations of Pride Pools or go to pridepools.com for more information. Thanks for listening. Come by and meet your local pool and spa experts in Claxton on Highway 280 West or in Savannah on Gateway Boulevard South, or go to pridepools.com. If you love backyard family fun as much as we do, be sure to give us a rating and review and subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And if you have a question or topic you'd love for us to cover, drop us an email, info@pridepools.com. or tap the links for Facebook or Instagram in the show notes of this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Now let's go make a splash and have some backyard family fun.